Hello everyone, today we're going to be hopping back into Historic Brawl with Lonis Cryptozoologist. Now, Lonis is going to go ahead and create a clue token for us each time we have a non-token creature enter the battlefield. We can also tap Lonis and sacrifice any number of clues, look through that many cards off the top of our opponent's library, and put a non-land permanent that's X or less value from among them onto the battlefield under our control, stealing some of our opponent's cards for ourselves. Now, before we talk about our curve, let's talk a little bit about some of the non-creature spells we have. Some of the important ones to highlight here. Neoform. This is going to let us sacrifice a creature to find one with a greater mana value. This is going to come up in a little bit as we'll get another creature entering the battlefield trigger, and we have some very powerful high-valued creatures. Also, through affinity and other cost-reducing measures, we can play specific creatures for less mana than they actually cost, and then get bigger creatures off of Neoform. We also have Finale of Devastation as one of our finishers. This is a great way to close out the game, almost like a Craterhoof. Then if we take a look at the 3-mana spot, we also have Spawning Pod. This is going to do the same thing, trading up a smaller creature for a more expensive one. And Eldritch Evolution. Again, also doing the same thing. For some 3-mana artifacts, we've got Inspiring Statuary. This is going to give all of our non-artifacts Improvise, which is going to do wonders with all of the clue tokens that we have, making it very easy to empty our hand onto the board. And Nettlecyst, growing bigger with all of the clues. We also have Parallel Lives. This is going to double the number of tokens we make. And then through both of the Karns, we'll be able to make additional artifact tokens, and in this case, some large constructs based on all of these artifacts we have. Tamiyo's Journal is going to give us a clue on each of our upkeep, and we can sacrifice 3 of them to search our library for any card we want and put it into our hand. That's going to be amazing and quickly close out the game if we can resolve that. And we also have Vivian, whose plus ability acts similarly to Neoform, letting us get bigger creatures. Now, one of the things that I would recommend if you're playing this deck is to go ahead and take a picture of what this curve looks like for you, so you have an idea of what creatures you can get when you're using those Neoform type effects. But let's talk through briefly what we've got here. We've got 2 0-mana creatures in Ornithopter and Stonecoil, and then in the 1-mana slot we've got a bunch of ramp, but also Teething Wormlet stands out as one of our best 1-mana creatures to get. This is going to give us some life with each artifact ETB, and we have a lot of artifacts. It's also going to be a growing threat over the course of the game, each turn getting a little bit bigger with those +1/+1 counters. 2-mana standout cards, Reality Chip, right here. This is going to let us play cards off the top of our library and really give us some more gas. And then we also have the Steel Seeker. Steel Seeker is going to be amazing with all of those clue ETBs, letting us get all of our lands into our hands and only drawing good cards for some of our later turns. We also have Woodland Champion. This is going to grow so fast, and for only 2 mana with all of our tokens, this is going to be an absolutely amazing heavy hitter into the late game if we get it early. At the 3-mana slot, we have a Trophy Mage. Trophy Mage can get some of those artifacts that I had mentioned earlier, either a big Nettlecyst or the Statuary to reduce the cost of our other spells. Absolutely great for us. We also have Tireless Tracker. This is going to make more clues with landfall and grow bigger as we sacrifice them. Notably, sacrificing all of our clues with Lonis will put all of those +1/+1 counters on Tireless Tracker and could be a great way to end the game. Fierce Empath is also going to get us one of our really big creatures into our hands, which is going to be absolutely great for finding a closer. Now, we only have 1 creature in the 4-mana slot. That's the Transplant Theorist. This is going to let us filter through the top of our deck each time an artifact enters the battlefield, and it also gives us some sustain into the late game, putting specific cards that we want back onto the bottom of our library to get back later. This could be really good if we lose out on one of our specific costed creatures that we search for with Neoform. Getting it back into our library lets us search for it again and get additional value. Up here at 5 mana, Wave Sifter will investigate, Mold Drifter will draw us cards, both fairly generic. Shimmer Dragon up here at the 6-mana point, it's our only 6-mana spell, but it will have Hexproof if we have 4 more artifacts, which is easily attainable. But its ability to tap 2 untapped artifacts to draw a card is always going to refill our hand when we have it, being able to tap down all of our clues. Then up at 7 mana, we've got Thought Monitor, which will mostly be casting for 1 with all the artifacts we generate. Mirror Enforcer, which we can get out for free. But the real standout here is going to be the Junk Winder. Here, with affinity to tokens, we'll be casting it for 2 blue mana most of the times, and each time a token enters the battlefield under our control, we can tap a non-land permanent an opponent controls and prevent it from untapping during their next untap phase. This is amazing for slowing our opponent down, and also helping us get through strategic damage when needed. And at the very top end above that, we've got CRATERHOOF Behemoth to close out the game. Now, if you guys like my content and have any other ideas for future videos, please make sure you let me know in a comment down below. And if you enjoy the video, make sure you like and subscribe, but let's go ahead and take this out and see how this does. Alright, here we are playing into Jin-Gitaxias. This is going to be a fine starting hand for us. We'll go ahead and keep. Starting with a Elvish Mystic. Right. Gonna try and play out Lonis here. It's countered, that's fine. Back into the command zone, swing in for 1. Opponent down at 24. Alright. Gonna get some additional ramp here. And now go for the Statuary. Opponent will counter this spell, I'm sure. No, Thirst for Discovery. Alright, let's go. Next turn, we'll be able to refuel our hand with Muldrifter. Can also get an additional token off of the tracker. Alright, we're gonna go for the Muldrifter here. Alright. Opponent matches our draw. Tap our Elvish Mystic for some Land War Elves and pass the turn. Alright. Let's go ahead and get out Parallel Lives. It's looking good. Now we're going to hold on to Essence Flux for our Muldrifter, and then go ahead and move to combat. Passing the turn. Alright, nick those. No devotion to blue, though. Alright, and here comes Jin-Gitaxias. Alright. And there we go, opponent uses negate there. So let's go ahead and play out Lonis. We're gonna go ahead and make 4 clue tokens here. Swing in for 2. Alright, opponent taking an additional turn. This is very expensive Explore. Alright. Go ahead and play out the Enforcer. That's fine. Let's see, what's the best way to do this? We can solve the equation here. That's fine. Alright. It's countered. No problem there. Opponent will soon be running out of counterspells. Swinging in for another 2, pass the turn. Next turn we have Invasion of Ikoria. Alright. Now let's see what our opponent does this turn. So far looking good. Pass back to us. Alright, let's start by getting some more artifacts. And then let's see, what can we do here? 4, 6... I think we have to go for it. Will this resolve? Opponent's thinking. So I'm not sure that they have a counterspell currently. Alright, it does resolve. We're gonna search our library. Notably, CRATERHOOF fits that criteria. Gonna make 2 clue tokens, and then swing in for a ton of damage. We've got it, alright. Alright, playing into a ninjutsu deck. We're gonna go ahead and keep this opening hand. This looks great. The Arboreal Grazer's start is going to help accelerate us. Yep. Great art here. But our opponent's still thinking about their starting hand. Alright. Arboreal Grazer. I'm gonna get Command Tower out onto the battlefield. Opponent plays a tap land. Gonna start with Lonis. Play a Caretaker. Get our first clue, pass the turn. Okay, Arcane Signet. Alright, let's play out our Karn here.
Some solutions must be built.
No attacks. End the turn. Yep. Looks like they're gonna miss their land drop here. And that's fine.
It's best if you stop.
Alright. Let's go ahead and start with the Theorist. Draw a card, discard a card. Let's see, I think we're gonna want the zombie more. Still gonna take the zombie. Let's go ahead and cast here. No need to, our hand is empty.
There is always another fight. Evil cannot withstand a righteous arm.
Moving to combat. In for 6. Now he will have the opportunity to ninjutsu something out in place of the Slither Blade. Let's see what creature he's got. Alright, it is a Massacre Worm. Okay. Fortunately for us, that's only gonna kill Lonis here. And replays the Slither Blade. Alright, before we take my turn, let's go ahead and... Fierce Empath is going to be a fine draw for us. Take action here. We're going to go ahead and get the Junk Winder. We're actually going to be able to play the Winder as well. Tapping down the Empath. Move to combat. Swing for 12. Opponent won't be blocking this. Now, ideally, next turn, we're gonna see one of our cheap creatures. We've got Larder Zombie to help make sure that happens. We'll be able to surveil once. Alright. Keeps Massacre Worm back. Makes sense to me. Let's see what he's got. Alright, Thousand Face Shadow. Alright. Opponent concedes. Alright, we are playing into a Liliana the Veil. And this looks like a starting hand that we can keep. We'll go ahead and start off with our Arboreal Grazer. Play a tapped Citadel. This is going to help with our artifacts, increase our affinity count. Blue land, let's get Lonis out. No attacks. It would be unfortunate. Yep, remove. Completely understand. Back in the command zone. We're just gonna play him out one more time. No attacks. See if our opponent plays the Lily here. Does not. Alright, we're gonna get rid of Neoform. Let's go ahead and play our Steel Seeker. Perfect. There's our land. End the turn. I'm gonna be very resilient into the discard with Steel Seeker. Alright. Gonti's gonna grab something from us. Not quite sure what. I think next turn we're gonna go for the Karn. Construct ETB is gonna let us look for land with our Steel Seeker. Okay. Alright, well, let's start with the Wanderer. Perfect. There's a land for us. Let's go ahead and play out the Karn. We'll make a token.
Awaken.
Vivian of the Hunt. We can put that in the graveyard. And we'll play a land here. No attacks. And end the turn. Next turn we've got Thought Monitor. Sure. Before Lonis dies. Actually, no need to. We're gonna keep our Construct big. Sure, yep. There goes Gonti. It's a fine trade.
Say hello.
Alright, Tireless Tracker is phenomenal. Especially with Fabled Passage in hand. Yep. We're gonna draw this for sure. There's a tracker. Clue. Spawning Pod is absolutely fantastic for us. No attacks. We'll go ahead and end the turn here. No need to crack Fabled Passage yet. Sure. Go ahead and exile my 2-mana creature for 4 mana. That's some good value for us. Alright, let's play the pod. And now here's the fun part. Gonna pay 1 on the pod. Here's our CRATERHOOF. Now let's go ahead and move to combat. Right? There's no feasible way that our opponent's going to be able to get around this. Especially for 2 mana. And there we go. Alright, off to a good start. We're gonna go ahead and keep this. Start with our Stalwart for some ramps. Next turn we're gonna play out Lonis. And we will tap Lonis. Get the Wormlet. Trigger, gain a life, make a clue. Sure. Stomps Lonis. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Guardian Project here. Swing for 2. This is gonna help us fix our draws going forward. Alright. Now we do have Wave Sifter here. I think we play Lonis instead though. And Parallel Lives. That's very good. Gonna offer a trade here, that's fine. If our opponent chooses to recast their commander, then that's all they're going to be able to do this turn. Let's see if they hit their land drop first. They do, and I think they will recast. Nope, Lightning Strike on Lonis. Back in the command zone. Reclamation stage, gonna hit the Guardian Project. No worries there. Let's go ahead and pick green. And let's get out our Wave Sifter. Having some more clues is going to be good for us, especially when we're looking at getting Karns. We might also go Parallel Lives and then the Druid. No need to block this. Yep. Alright, here's a land. Let's play Parallel Lives. Let's play our Druid. Swing in for 3. Next turn, we're going to be able to make 2 constructs because of Parallel Lives. Alright, no need to block here. Now let's play our Karn. Twice as many constructs. No attacks. Go ahead and end the turn here. Things are looking pretty good for us. Next turn we'll get 2 more constructs. Alright. This is fine. Alright. So we do have to block here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and block like that. And like this. We'll pass the turn. Down at 2. And the opponent concedes. Okay, right off the bat, this looks like a good starting hand. We're going to go ahead and keep. We also have the free Once Upon a Time. Very fortunate. Let's start with Once Upon a Time. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the Tireless Tracker here. And then play the Stalwart. Next turn, we have Lonis and Springleaf. Go ahead, play Springleaf. Tap down for Lonis. We'll be able to play the Tireless Tracker next turn. That's fine. Lonis back in the command zone. Let's go ahead, play our Tracker. Get our landfall trigger. Alright, opponent passes turn back. We do not have a land, but that's alright. I'm gonna go ahead and play out the Lonis. We're holding up Spell Pierce off Springleaf Drum, which our opponent can pay for. Lonis back in the command zone. Hanging on to Spell Pierce. Back for 3. Opponent does draw a land here. And so do we. Let's go ahead and play out Nissa.
I protect that which cannot protect itself. Rise, my elemental friend.
Get our Druid swinging for 3. Right. Opponent moves to combat. Most likely gonna... Nope, does not attack Nissa. No blocks, taking 4. And there's a Legion War Boss. Okay, Plaza as our land. Here's Lonis. Untapping a blue land with Nissa. Gonna move to combat, swing out like this. Alright, there we go. We've got Metallic Rebuke and Spell Pierce. Alright. Well, let's block the Goblin. Back to my turn. Let's see what we want to do here. I think we'll go ahead and tap for a colorless and turn the Citadel into an animated land for us. And then from here, we're just gonna go to combat, swing out like this. Alright. Go ahead and sacrifice a clue. Now that's a good trade for us. Then we're just gonna end the turn here, hold up our counter magic. Notably, Darksteel Citadel has Indestructible, so we can just block here. Looking good. Taps out for the Orcus. Fortunately, we have a counter spell. Let's go ahead and tap the Citadel. And we got it! Alright! Alright, thank you all for watching today. A couple of tips for this deck is definitely make sure that you're aware of what the different mana values of your creatures are. That's really going to help for those Neoform-like effects, allowing you to trade up some of your smaller creatures into bigger threats. Certainly know what your toolbox is. This deck is very good at getting what you need onto the battlefield when you need it, which is great for consistency and winning the game. Aside from that, pretty much prioritize whatever move will give you the most artifacts on the battlefield, because you'll always be able to transition those into a lead with a good draw. I hope you all enjoyed watching today. If you have any ideas for a deck that you'd like to see me play next, please comment that down below. And as always, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'll see you all next time.